ācārya gṛhe āgamana prathama bhikṣā kaila śāntipura saṅkīrtana śāntipure ācārya gṛhe āgamana prathama bhikṣā tāhāṅ rātre saṅkīrtana bhikṣā kaila tāhāṅ Śāntipura ācārya gṛhe āgamana Mataji's. Śāntipure, in the city of Śāntipura, ācāryera of Advaita Ācārya, gṛhe, to the home, āgamana, coming, prathama, first, bhikṣā, accepting alms, kaila, did, tāhāṅ, there, rātre, at night, saṅkīrtana, performance of congregational chanting. After 3 days, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the house of Advaita Ācārya at Śāntipura and accepted alms there. This was his first acceptance of alms. At night, he performed congregational chanting there. I forgot to read the first verse also. Let's back up. When proceeding toward Vṛndāvana, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was overwhelmed with ecstatic love for Krishna, and he lost all remembrance of the external world. In this way, he traveled continuously for 3 days in Radhadesh, the country where the Ganges River does not flow. First of all, Lord Nityānanda bewildered Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu by bringing him along the banks of the Ganges, saying that it was the river Yamunā. Srila Prabhupada's Purport. It appears that in his transcendental ecstasy, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu forgot to eat for 3 continuous days. He was then misled by Nityānanda Prabhu, who said that the river Ganges was the river Yamunā. Because the Lord was in the ecstasy of going to Vṛndāvana, he was engladdened to see the Yamunā, although in actuality the river was the Ganges. In this way, the Lord was brought to the house of Advaita Prabhu at Śāntipura after 3 days, and he accepted food there. As long as the Lord remained there, he saw his mother Sachi Devi, and every night executed congregational chanting with all the devotees. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitanjena Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namah Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangam Vanghayate Girim Yakripatamaham Vande Śrī Gurum Dīnataranam Nama Shishtam Manumapi Sachi Putra Mantra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurapurim Matarim Gushtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Śrī Gurum Tam Natosmi. Jai Śrī Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Śrī Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. So we may ask, what was it that was so attractive to Lord Chaitanya in causing him ecstasy? to go to Vṛndāvana. And that is the feeling of the Brajvasis towards Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya is exhibiting that feeling of ecstatic love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's explained in Caitanya-caritāmṛta that devotion touched by reverence does not satisfy the Lord. He's satisfied by emotional ecstasy, love of God, not worship of God, with folded hands, dasya ras. The cowherd boys are sitting and eating with Krishna, and they're snatching food from his own mouth. He's ready to put laddu in his mouth. No, I'll take that, thank you very much. And Krishna is eating off the plate of the gopas also. This is Brajras. No conception of Aishvarya, that he is the Lord. Rather, he is my friend. He is my son. He is my lover. Mother Jashoda loves to fuss over Krishna, dressing him very nicely, making beautiful garland, beautiful clothes, jewelry, pagri, yumka, fixing him very nicely, more bhank. Then what does Krishna do? He grabs tail of a calf, gets dragged through the mud. Oh, but she's happy to do everything over again because this is her happiness. Because she's thinking Krishna is my son. Nanda Maharaj said, whatever you say about Krishna, he's my son, he's my son, he's my son. He said it's impossible that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He eats way too many sweets. This is Krishna. And the loving relationship between the residents in Vṛndāvana and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is ecstasy for the Lord. He's not as pleased with the Vaikuntha mood of awe and reverence. So how to come to that? This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought. Anarpita chirim chirat karunaya bhatirna kalo samarpayitum unnato jalarasam sabhakti shayam hari purada sundara duti kadamba sandipita sada pradya kandare spiritu vasachinandana. Rupa Goswami said that this is the gift that's never been seen before, a priceless gift of unnato jalarasam, of ecstatic love of God. This is our objective also. But how to come from here to there? This is the challenge in Krishna Bhakti. This is what Lord Chaitanya is offering, but can we jump over and immediately experience Braj Prem? People talk Braj Prem, Krishna Prem, but is it so easy? It requires lifetimes. Itam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shitanam naradarakena sakam bijaru krita punya punja. Srila Prabhupada will quote this verse often. After lifetimes of accumulating sukriti, one may get the opportunity to feel that Krishna is my friend. We can't artificially feel that for Krishna. Was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bhange, that we keep Ragapat, ecstatic love of God, over our head. We worship that. We worship the feeling of the Brajvasis for Krishna. But we can't jump over that. And this is a problem in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. There is a class of person who feels they can jump over and immediately enter this intimate relationship with Krishna. This isn't our process. Our process is Golokera Premadhana Harinama Saṅkīrtana. Goloka Prem comes to us how? Harinama Saṅkīrtana. By preaching Harinam, by preaching Krishna consciousness. This is the process. Our highest objective is Radha Dasyam. Radhe Vṛndāvanādishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripaya Nijapadam Ja Dasyam Majam Pridiyatam. Srimati Radharani is an ocean of ecstatic love of God. And she wants to give that to us. But how to get it? what was taught to us by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, he preached Krishna consciousness. Yata yata gaura padara vinde, vindaita krityam kritapunyavasi tata satutsarpata vidyakasmat, radha sampadam bhava subham virasi. If we want Radha Dasyam, this is a process. Take shelter of Gaura. You want to go to Vṛndāvana and enter Braj-ras? Take shelter of Mayapur. Take shelter of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. Preach Krishna consciousness. This is the process. By taking shelter of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, Gaura Padara Vinde, taking shelter of his lotus feet, we get this highest, most cherished goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Radha Dasyam. And we sing this every day. Nikunja yono ratikele siddhar, yayalibhya yuktir apekshaniya. What are they doing? Nikunja Seva? Is it so easy to enter Nikunja Seva? To make tasteful arrangements, to be amongst the Sakhis, making tasteful arrangements for the service of Radha and Krishna? Is such an easy thing? To come from womanizing, intoxication, meat eating, and all types of sinful activities immediately, to come to Nikunja Seva? Some people would have you think so. They preach this. We can't preach the intimate pastimes of Radha Krishna. We preach Bhagavad Gita. We preach Srimad Bhagavatam, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata. This thing we bring to the public. It's a nice story that Srila Prabhupada was approached by a very professional Orison acting troupe. And he said, Swamiji, we want to perform Ras-Lila for the public. You please bless us. Srila Prabhupada said, no, I cannot bless this. Well, will you bless the performance of Damodar Lila? Prabhupada said, no. Well, what will you bless? You perform Bhagavad Gita. Because what will people think? They think that this boy Krishna is so lusty. He's dancing with his gopis. But how many gopis is he dancing with? 30 crores of gopis when he does Ras Lila for the night of Brahma. This is that boy Krishna. This they don't understand. They criticize without understanding who is Krishna. They say, who is this boy? How can a little boy lift a whole mountain? But they don't know who is that little boy. Avajananti ma mudha manusham tanamashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. They don't know that little boy is Maheshwar. He's a source of Govardhan. He's a source of billions of universes. This is that boy Krishna. So can we jump to that understanding, and can we present that to the public? We don't present that to the public. Did we ever hear Srila Prabhupada make a presentation like that? Never. And when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made an arrangement for preaching at Radha Kund, all the Radha Kund Babajis came and said, now we're going to hear the nectar, Lila Katha. But what did he preach? Ishavasyamidam sarvam jatkincha jagatam jagat tena chaktena bunjidama gṛhe kasya sejanam. And they thought, who is this man? He is simply a jnani. He doesn't know. He can't taste higher rasa. But who is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? He's a participant in Goloka Prem, Nayan Manjari. He's a participant, but how is he presenting himself? ABC, spiritual life. How is he preaching Krishna consciousness? ABC, spiritual life. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. This is his presentation. And following in his footsteps, Srila Prabhupada did the same. Have we ever heard a single lecture of Srila Prabhupada where he didn't quote extensively from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam? He gave us Krishna book for relishing. Everything's there. On the other side, we shouldn't think that Prabhupada didn't give highest understanding. He did, but how? So intelligently presented. Krishna book and Krishna Tattva. Krishna Lila, Krishna Tattva, beautifully interwoven side by side, so there can be no misunderstanding about the personality of Godhead Lord Krishna, or misunderstanding about the characteristic of his Lila. So we do the same thing. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur forbid his disciples to read Govinda Lilamrita, Krishna Karnamrita, Ujjvala Nilamani. He said, you can't read this. Who are these devotees? Many of them, Nityasiddha devotees, associates, personal associates of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, part of his parikar, part of his spiritual family. But to show the example, where we should absorb our mind and what we should preach, he said, you cannot read these things. That will come to us, Prabhupada said, that will come to us, but we have to wait. We take shelter of Vaidhi Bhakti, we preach Vaidhi Bhakti, and this is the example shown to us by our acharyas. We can't jump over immediately to all of these things. But we should appreciate Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bhangi, we keep it over our head. We worship this. And we can hope someday, some lifetime, we may get the opportunity to serve Radha Krishna, to serve Krishna in Sakhya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Madhurya Ras. This is our birthright. This is the property of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We're not interested in Dasya Ras. This isn't what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. When the gopis were looking for Krishna, searching everywhere, in the madness of love of God, asking the Tamalji, have you seen Krishna? Asking Tulsi, have you seen Krishna? Asking River Yamunā, where is Krishna? When they saw Narayan, they offered their pranam. And they asked him, have you seen Krishna? They offered their pranam, but have you seen Krishna? They're not interested in this type of relationship. They're interested in love of God, not worship of God. Love of God, prema, contains all the other aspects of rasa. Madhurya rasa contains vatsalya ras, sakhya ras, dasya ras. Vatsalya ras contains sakhya ras, dasya ras. In this way, Madhurya ras contains everything. And this is available to us in Krishna Bhakti. This is our birthright. Unato Jalarasam, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute. This is his ecstasy of going to Vṛndāvana. So we can also go to Vṛndāvana, but unless we go there in this mood of servitude to Guru and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you'll only see a dusty village full of monkeys, pigs, and tourists. Not that I'm grouping them necessarily with the pigs and the monkeys, but you see a dusty village. But how to enter in Vṛndāvan mood? From Vaidhi Bhakti, by the process of Vaidhi. But this process, Prabhupada said, will give us the desired goal in course of time, but we have to wait. And the fast track process to get that mercy is preaching Krishna consciousness. But the process of our advancement in Krishna Bhakti is a mercy equation. Nothing less. Srila Prabhupada writes in one purport in Srimad Bhagavatam that the mechanical process of hearing and chanting will not bring the desired result. We have to qualify ourselves by hearing and chanting, but the perfection comes by mercy. My highly esteemed godbrother Jananivas Prabhu gave a very beautiful example. He said, it's your birthday, and there's a knock on the front door. You open the door, and it's your best friend, and he's holding something behind his back. You know it's a present. It's your birthday. He's your best friend. He brought you a present, but you can't tell him, now give it to me. You have to wait. He has to give it to you. It's a crude example, but bhakti is something like that. We chant, we surrender, we worship, we be the best devotee we can be. We try and preach Krishna consciousness, help other people in Krishna bhakti. But we have to wait for the mercy to actually participate in Krishna Lila. It's like you see in these sporting matches, there's people on the field, they're kicking the ball, they're throwing the ball, and there's people sitting on the bench. They'll be engaged in the game, but they have to wait to be called into the game. They can't just run out of the field, I'm going to play, without being asked. We have to be requested. We have to have an invitation to participate in Krishna Lila directly. Another important thing to understand, since we are bringing up this verse from Gurvashtakam, some people say, all your ISKCON gurus, they are unqualified for this. People agree that Srila Prabhupada is on the stage of Krishna Bhakti. Yet there is a class of critical, thoughtless persons who say that all your gurus, they're unqualified, bogus, even they say. But one may ask, if Srila Prabhupada's engaged in making tasteful arrangements for the pleasure of Radha Krishna in the association of the Sakhis, who is helping him? Is he there by himself? Is this our conception of Guru Parampara? That he's there by himself making tasteful arrangements for the service of Radha Krishna in the groves of Vṛndāvana? He's being assisted by his qualified sishyas. This is Guru Parampara. He's not there by himself. He's being assisted by his disciples. Whose disciples will assist him? Whose disciples will assist him? This is Guru Parampara. Someone who makes such an assertion simply doesn't understand the process of what is Guru Parampara. So we should appreciate on this level what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu given, but we should understand what is the process of getting it. Guru Krishna Kripaya Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. We've been waiting for millions of lifetimes. Brahmanda Brahmite, Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. We are Bhagyavan Jeev, each and every one of. We come to the shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. And chanting Hare Krishna, distributing books, preaching, worshipping, praying, surrendering. We've come to the shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we have to wait for mercy. This Bhagyavan Jeev, become fortunate, is our birthright. We're all Bhagyavan Jeev, but how to get the real fruit of Bhagyavan Jeev? We have to wait for that. We have to be crying to get that mercy. Crying to cry for mercy. Crying to cry for mercy. And mercy will come in due course of time. We should be patient to wait. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to Vṛndāvana. Well, what is he going there for? What is his mood of going to Vṛndāvana? As a tourist? He's not even eating. For 3 days he's not even eating. He's completely aloof. He's thinking Ganges is Yamunā. He's in another world. And we can enter that world, each of us, by the process of Krishna Bhakti. That is the power of Bhakti. This is why Bhakti is the most difficult thing. There is a class of person who thinks that jnana is the real deal. And Bhakti is very nice. It's good for old people and for children. Makanchor, Giriraj, it's all very cute. Krishna stealing butter. This is the highest thing. Jnana is not the highest thing. Jnana is an adjunct to Bhakti. It's useful for Bhakti, but it can't give you prema. Therefore we read, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavam Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. Who is a Sudurlava Mahatma? A rare, great soul? Someone who knows that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Krishna is everything. And that is achieved Bahunam Janmanamante. After many, many births and deaths. We surrender. Mam Prapadyate, Krishna says. So what is that surrender? Surrender is a process. When we come and we join this society, that's surrender. We shave our head, we put a tilak, Pantakanti mala. One day we get initiated, another step of surrender. One day we take responsibility in Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON, another step of surrender. We take responsibility for preaching Krishna consciousness, responsibility for someone else's spiritual life. That's also another step of surrender. This is a process of surrender. It's not an overnight snap your fingers, from tomorrow I'm surrendered. No more lust, no more anger, no more greed, no more envy. It's a process of surrender. And it may take lifetimes. It may take lifetimes. But the objective is so relishable. We should be prepared to take lifetimes. To come to prema, Krishna prema, ecstatic love of God. Not just worship of God, vidhi marg, but raga marg, ecstatic love of God. Following raga marg means to follow in the footsteps of ragatmika devotees. To follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda, or one of these Sakhis, Manjaris, Sakhas, ragatmika devotees. But we can't think that's me. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if a person tries to conceive of himself in a particular rasa prematurely, he'll simply become confused. But yet we see this sometimes amongst devotees. Am I a gopi or am I a cowherd boy? What am I? You don't know. You're not. Start at the beginning. You're not your body. You're not a hunk of flesh, blood, bone, skin, and hair. Start at the beginning. One of my godbrothers spent some time with a group of devotees who have this conception that they can jump over. And one of them was telling him very proudly, I chant 1 lakh of japa every day, 64 rounds. She said, okay, very nice, very good. Next morning, this person said, I'm going down to the beach to chant my japa. They're in Hawaii. This person came back an hour and a half later and said, all done. You chanted 64 rounds in an hour and a half. Hardly you can move the beads fast enough without even speaking the mantra. Same person said, and when I go to the grocery store, Srimati Radharani is telling me directly, you buy strawberry yogurt for Krishna. Is it? I'm a Sakhi, and I'm a Manjari, and you can be one too. Is this our process? This isn't our process. Sitting at Radha Kund and doing smaranam is not our process. Certainly, there are many saintly people at Radha Kund doing smaranam. But what about the masses of people? What about them? Naivoduje paraturatya vaitar anyastvad virya gayana mahammata magnachita sochetato vimukachetasa indriyata maya sukhayam paramudvahato vimudhan. We're concerned, we're liberated. Devotee who's chanting Hare Krishna, serving his guru, preaching Krishna consciousness is liberated. We have no problem. We'll easily cross over the material world at the time of death. But what about the rest of the world? What about the people, the millions of people outside these doors? That is our soche, that is our anxiety, that is our unhappiness. To see them carrying this huge burden of material life, struggling like anything for what? Driving here through traffic, what are all these people, where are they going? And what do they want out of life? They're simply chasing rupees so they can enjoy like an animal. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. This is their whole objective. They don't know anything more than that. And this is the saddest thing. They're thinking the highest perfection of life is indriya sukh. Satisfy your senses. Work hard, work like a dog, enjoy like a hog. This is their life. And this is the saddest thing. We feel for them. Liberation isn't a big deal. Liberation was just in our grasp. But what about the masses of people? Will they be benefited if we all decide to go? Let us go to Radha Kund, chant 1 lakh and do smaranam. And let the rest of the world go to hell? This isn't the teaching of our acharyas. This is Lord Chaitanya's saṅkīrtana movement. Jagyai, saṅkīrtana prayer. Saṅkīrtana means many people coming together, not you sitting in some bhajan kutir or some cave in the Himalayas. But to get millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people together to chant Krishna's holy name. How ecstatic it was, this big Sankirtan festival at Dwarka. 9,000 devotees doing Harinam. I've never seen so many devotees. Imagine 90,000. Is it possible? Yes, it is. This is the beauty of Sankirtan. People like to go to puja, Satyanarayan Katha, and they sit and they listen, they watch the puja, they watch the priest. Om Swasti no Govinda, Swasti no Judananda, Swasti no Vasudeva Vishnu. I'm coming. Swasti no Vasudeva. Right? They watch puja, but can they participate? The priest is offering puja and people sit and watch, and this is very nice. Saṅkīrtana immediately engages innumerable people. When I was doing little saṅkīrtana, of course actually it wasn't exactly saṅkīrtana, we were collecting money for the temple. We'd go to the football games, and there'd be 70,000 people inside the auditorium. And when the game starts, there's this incredible roar of 70,000. They're not chanting Krishna's name. Like, Rah! And I thought, what could it be if 70,000 people chanted Krishna, Govinda? This is what we look for. And this will bring salvation to the world, because everyone can participate. Saṅkīrtana. Not that we sit in bhajan kutir chanting a lakh of rounds. That's good for you. But have you no feeling for the masses of people? Our heart bleeds to see people suffering. Our heart should bleed to see the suffering of the masses of people. This is the standard that was taught to us by Lord Chaitanya. This was his ecstasy. This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur taught. This is what our Srila Prabhupada taught. This is what our Ācāryas in ISKCON are teaching. How has this temple been built? For what purpose? So people can come here, so lakhs of people can come here to chant and learn something. ISKCON is an educational institution for the benefit of human society. We're not interested to sit by ourselves and do smaranam. All glories to them, but we have work to do. And with that said, I understand you're going out on Saṅkīrtana today. You have a different schedule, so I'll stop. In accordance with Mohan Rupa Prabhu and our devotees that are organizing what I'm just talking about. You're all going to go out and do what I'm just talking about. But keep in mind that the fruit of this is a fast track to actually experience Braj Prem. This is our objective, but how do we do it? Go out and preach Krishna consciousness. Anya priyataro bhuvi. Krishna says, Anya, there's no other person, priyataro, most dear to me, than who takes responsibility for helping other people come to Krishna Bhakti. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any comment or question? Prabhuji?
Haribol. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is like, despite of hearing so many lectures about Krishna and his transcendental pastimes, our mind hampers or stops for cultivating devotion service.
The mind does?
Hampers in between for cultivating devotion service.
Yes, that's what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. In the morning, beat your mind with a stick 100 times. And before you take rest, beat your mind again with shoes 100 times. Mind is the whole problem. Read Bhagavatam. Aila Gita, and this Brahmin takes sannyas. They're urinating on his food. They're passing gas in his face. They're stealing his danda. They're throwing trash at him. What did he say? This isn't what makes me suffer. It's not my karma. It's not the nakshatras. It's not the moon. It's not the planets. It's not Why am I suffering? Only my mind. Mind is the main problem. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridham tasyaham nigraham mane vayur ivasadushkaram. It's like how you can control it. Yato nischalati manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyam yaitad atmaneva vashamyat. Control your mind. Know that we're not the mind. It's an easy thing to understand. I'm not this body. More difficult to understand, I'm not my mind. Because you think, I am hot, I am cold, I am angry, I am envious, I am greedy, I am lusty. It's all illusion that it lives in our mind. Atma is not cold, hot, lusty, greedy, hungry. Mind is. And mind is saying, you need to enjoy your senses. And you're a very important person also. You should get respect. And they can't treat you like this. And why don't you go make lots of money and enjoy your life? This is the mind, number one enemy. So we beat the mind. Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Then the mind doesn't hamper. Purified mind is our best friend. As the mind dwells on sense objects, by purification one day, it will dwell on Krishna. Krishna's beauty, Krishna's mercy, Krishna's form, Krishna's opulence, Krishna's devotees, Krishna's associates. One thing after another, mind will do the same thing, but Krishna. But that requires purification. Then the mind is our friend. It doesn't hamper us. It brings us to Krishna. It will do the same thing, but for Krishna. Thank you for a nice question. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai, Nitāy Gaur Premanande.